welcome back to our amazing Women's History Month celebration event. So we are now up for panel 2, which is about the players kicking in the door. And we have an amazing, amazing roster of women here. So I'd first like to introduce you to Leo. Hi. Or Leonita.
Yeah, whichever one.
Yeah. We've got Molly. Lovely Tiana. And the amazing Annabelle. Okay, well, so welcome on in, and thank you so much for being here to share some of your insight. So this panel is about, women finding their way in the industry, especially around esports, as well as the kind of accessibility aspect of gaming as well. So I'd like to start with Leo, who, I know this, but Leo was out here doing Tekken legendary things. And I was like, hello? I need to get babes on the panel because I was a big Tekken fighting game player when I was growing up. So, I mean, it's so good to have you here and, I want to know more about you.
So great. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, where do I even start? I think you, Tekken was my game as a kid. I was the one, and it's just sort of imprinted on me, and then I haven't touched another. Well, no, I dabble in other fighting games, but that's the main one, right? So played it casually since I was young, and then maybe 5-6 years ago now, I joined a local FGC group based in East London called East London Fighters. Self-explanatory, and yeah, just started playing and then got into helping them run events and things like that. So amazing. That's kind of been my thing. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! And Money, my love, how about you? Would you like to tell our guests a little bit more about you?
Hi, I'm a disabled content creator, and I basically make a lot of content surrounding diversity, equity, and inclusion work. Analysing games, analysing game characters, the diversity of games, and talking a lot about accessibility and being disabled in the gaming space.
Fantastic, and we need more. We need more of that, don't we? We're gonna touch onto that, but thank you so much, Molly. And Tiana, come on, tell them how you've been breaking boundaries, babe.
Hi everyone, I'm Tiana Mercedes. My main game is Call of Duty. Like Leo, that's all I play is Call of Duty, but not for the past week because I've been playing GTA roleplay, but we're not going to speak about that. But yeah, that's the game I normally play. In lockdown, I'd say I started getting into tournaments and stuff, and since then, I just mainly post content and also post what females go through on Call of Duty because, as you lot may know, it's very toxic. So yeah, that's what my content focuses on mainly.
Mm-hmm. She's been making the boys cry. We love it. And Annabelle, my love, let's tell the people about you, Miss Founder of Melanin Gamers.
I mean, she said it. My name is Annabelle, or Anzi, and I founded Melanin Gamers almost 5 years ago. And so we do networking events, panel talks, and our main thing is to promote inclusion and diversity in the video games industry.
Fantastic. I told you, they're amazing. They're fantastic. So let's get into getting yourself kind of tournament ready. So, I mean, Tiana, have you been part of a few Call of Duty tournaments? Yeah. So tell the audience a little bit how you get yourself ready for tournaments. What's kind of been your build-up in your play style?
Now I still get really nervous before tournaments. It's every time I'm playing casually, I can play fine, and then as soon as the tournament comes on, I just can't play anymore. I don't know what it is, but I do try my best. I try and have a Red Bull always because I need to stay alert, and I just try and play like I'm playing normally, even though it doesn't ever work. But yeah, I just try my best to just stay calm and focus on the game.
Fantastic. How long have you been doing tournaments?
I would say probably since lockdown.
Lockdown?
Yeah, not that long, but also I have played in a few since then. So yeah, I normally play once every 2 weeks or so.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Has there been a particular tournament that you really enjoyed?
I would not one that comes to mind because they're all quite similar.
Yeah.
So it's quite the same thing over and over again. But I just enjoy them in general. It gets my adrenaline rushing. Playing against the best players, it's just a great experience, really.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. And how about you, my lovely Leo? Any tournaments that you've been a part of? Or how do you get yourself tournament ready?
That's a whole, because I think, it's just, you play casually and it's fine. I play ranks, day to day, it's fine. As soon as, you go on a stage, it's I don't know how to press the buttons. And it's so frustrating. Yeah. It's I think, because there was, a period of time, I started entering tournaments and stuff back in like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
And like, yeah, the first couple was just like, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about it. But then I figured like, okay, this is something I want to like properly get into. This is something I want to like invest time into. It's like, okay, so we're just going to like grind the game. We're going to go to the next tournament. And then it was just about practice. It was like going to like casual tournaments like locally and then going abroad and just being like, just put yourself out there, just enter as many tournaments as you can. And eventually I got to a good point where it's like I could sit down, I could play, and it's like the first round or so I could feel I was still a bit nervous. And then as the games went on, I was like, it's fine. I can play this game. This is fine. Yeah, I think honestly with that, it's just the practice. It's just the repetition. It's just, you need to just keep doing it until eventually it's like, I can control my nerves. It's okay.
Oh, dope. How long would you say, what's the longest time you've like grinded? Okay, that face tells me everything I need to know.
Oh, God. Like, I don't know. There was a period of time where it's like, because I started streaming as well, of just like, you know, do like solid like 5-6 hour streams. And it's like, that could be all right if you're playing like Animal Crossing. If you're playing like Tekken though, it's like, by the end of it, my brain's just done. It's just done. I'm just like, got numbers flying through my head like it's a beautiful mind. Just like, I can't, So, yeah, let's not do that again. I've tried to tone it back.
Okay, so we have to play in moderation.
Yeah, in moderation.
You know, if we end up with your fingers, you know, you have to make sure you're looking after your body and your eyes too. Too many hours.
Yeah, that's why I have these now.
Yeah, 12-hour streams. Anyway, we're not going to talk about those 12-hour streams. So, Moni, let's talk about accessibility. It's such an important thing that we definitely need to kind of talk more about, and that the industry needs to start paying more attention to. So, you know, with the work that you've done, have you seen anyone that's kind of doing it well? Any opportunity to any companies who've been doing it well, or anyone who's kind of not done so well and how they could improve? And you don't have to name names because, you know, we don't have to drag them today, but, you know, we'll leave that for the
Can I
timeline.
name the people who've done well?
Yeah, you can definitely name who's done well.
So I think two of the big ones, like the AAA games that have done well and, I mean, won awards and all that kind of stuff, were Last of Us 2 when that came out, and that was in 2020, and then God of War Ragnarok were like the big like AAA games where they came out and everybody in accessibility was like, look at all these options, what is this? And I think, to be fair, a lot of games, I think because they saw the hype that especially God of War got, like even games like Call of Duty and stuff like that, although they came out, like they released, then they started updating with more accessibility features because they were like, oh, I see them doing it. They're getting talked about. We should do the exact same thing. And so I think it's a case of like just like good PR in general. If a company sees like another game or another company getting good PR, they're going to be like, okay, we want to do that too because they're getting talked about.
Let me copy your homework.
Yeah, literally. let me copy it. Let me see what you're doing. We'll do the exact same thing. And it's actually quite good in that more specific jobs at games companies are opening up in accessibility, like UI specialists, user experience specialists, and all that kind of stuff, that they are hiring specific roles for that now. And there are a lot of like consultants and freelance people that do it as well, but it's like the first time like in the last few years that I've seen like those roles actually be hired for, which is really cool.
That's really progressive. We really want, we love to see it. Come on, 2023, not so bad after all. And okay, if you could give like any words of advice to game developers and companies when it comes to accessibility, what would it be?
Oh, just hire people. Hire people that know what they're talking about. Not necessarily me. There are people that are way smarter than me. But hire people, hire disabled people, hire people of colour, people that are going to know what they're talking about when you may not. And it doesn't have to be someone in your company. Hire, again, a consultant or a freelancer, and they'll be able to know more information than you ever could look up or read or anything like that.
Absolutely, I agree. And Annabelle, how about you, my love? How do you think the industry can be more inclusive when it comes to accessibility?
I think it's hiring people who are, if you're creating a game, depending on the game that you're creating, and you're trying to represent a specific demographic, hire people from that demographic and don't feel based on what you think they want. Ask them, what is it that you guys want, you know? And some games will go like the extra mile. For example, there's a character in Valorant called Astra, and Riot actually went to Ghana, and the voice actress is from Ghana. They worked with a studio in Ghana. Like, they went that far, and she speaks some of like the local dialect because she's actually from, like, that is how far they went to make sure that the representation was authentic. And I'm not saying you have to fly, like all games have to do that, but if you actually want something that's authentic, then go to the source, you know? So that's how you do it, and that's how you like really show that you care about representation. And when you hear her voice, it's like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. And it means so much to so many people, you know? So I think that's how you can get it right.
That level of representation, giving the game due diligence to thrive and get, it's that authenticity that a lot of us are looking for when you are so underrepresented in games. When you actually see companies and games doing the work and putting in so much effort to allow you to be seen in game, it's so important. Oh my God. And is there a name for this, or are we not allowed to say? Wait, did you say the name? Because you know I'm partially deaf. I'm old, Chef. Or is there a game that you think that are doing it quite well?
It's Valorant.
Oh, it's Valorant. Okay.
Yeah. The character is called Astra, the game is called Valorant.
I'm old, I don't hear things. But is there a game, okay, apart from Valorant, who did that amazingly, is there another game that you can think of that are doing it quite well?
I'm going to say Apex, of course, because
Apex.
I cosplayed Lifeline, because I was like, oh my God, there's a character.
That's me! And the cosplay is amazing, by the way.
Literally,
Please.
I was like losing my mind. I was like, and off release, they were like that. And it makes the character not a black character, but just a person. And that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for, I want a black character. I just want a character. She also happens to be black, you know? And that's like what we're looking, not tokenism. Yes. So, and it just felt so nice that they represented us in different ways, because there's characters who, when you make someone authentic, they cease to be just their race. And their race adds to it, as opposed to like overwhelming the character. So I think that in terms of Apex, I can't fault the diversity of the different characters that they have in that game.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about kind of in general. So I think esports as a whole can be quite male-dominated. So how did you we're taking over now, sorry lads. How do you guys like carve your way to make a role for yourselves or make space for yourselves in esports and kind of like competitive gaming?
I feel like you just have to do it. You just have to go in guns blazing and just do it and not care what anybody else has to think. Because I feel like once they realize you care is when they start just bringing the hate and stuff. Is you have to be strong and you have to show them, I don't care, even if you say this or you say that, it's not going to affect me. So I feel like when you act like that, then you'll receive less backlash and stuff, because I feel like people just do it just to get a reaction.
I think it's also calling out gaming companies when they allow that sort of toxicity to continue. How long have we been talking about the toxicity in Call of Duty? When are they going to really do something about it? And actually just calling them out, like, look, are you guys going to do something about this? Your game is really toxic. You're losing players. You're losing money. And then that's when they're like, hold on, wait, we're losing what? That's how you get them, kind of thing.
And how about you, my loves? What do you think?
I mean, I'm not as talented as these lovely people. I'm just a content creator. But I think I think everyone that is content creating in the gaming space, which is male dominated, men are gonna hate you. Like, they just are. Like, not a day goes by that a man doesn't tell me that I suck at the game, or they hate my opinions, or they hate me. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a popular one. I think it is. I think for me, the way I took it, because it was at the beginning when I first started playing like competitive online games, I would not use voice chat, and when I did, like, I would be like really quiet and like really like nice to everybody, because I was like, I don't want men to yell at me. And then I just got to a point where I was like, I hope they hate me. Like, I really hope they dislike me, because I'm not gonna stop playing games. You're not going to stop like hearing from me. I'm just going to be extra annoying now, because I know it annoys you.
I'm here to stay, and I'm stealing your views whilst I'm at it.
Exactly.
And Leo, how about you, Mama? It's quite male dom. It can be quite, overbearing.
Yeah.
It can be quite intimidating.
It is.
But we're still out here. We still
we
making room for
got to
ourselves.
try.
Yeah.
I mean, I think like again, just like with Tekken and with fighting games in general, they are like, you're not on a team, you're on your own.
Yeah.
It's just that 1v1, so it's just inherently like so competitive, and there's men everywhere. Which is like fine. Like some of my best friends I've made through the FGC, and they are amazing. Like I love them so much. But it's also like, I think that's the thing as well, is like if you can find like a good circle of like support and friends that can help you through that like don't stand for the bullshit. Don't stand for the and are willing to stand up for you. And then also just a case of like not, how do I even say this? It's like, because you do care in the beginning. It's hard not to care because like you're putting your time and your effort into this, and you want to like prove yourself. Because I got caught in that spiral. It's like, oh, I want to prove myself because I'm the only woman here, and like I need to prove that I can actually play this game. But it's like you need to get to a point where it's like you're not doing it for them, you're doing it for yourself, and then you're able to like thrive and just not care about like all the noise that's going on. You're just doing what you're doing because you love to do it. Like, and that's it.
I love that. Just do what you got to do. It's what you want to do. That's so important. All right, so I think we might have some time for chat questions and our audience questions.
Some more questions this time.
Yes.
All right, so I do have one question here that says, how and what can we on the dev-facing side be doing to help more with accessibility?
A couple of things is, again, hire people that know what they're talking about. If you have the power within your company to hire UI, user experience specialists, accessibility specialists who know what they're talking about, that. Also, on the not gaming but more marketing side, make your PR events accessible. Make sure people can get there, make them easy to get to. If it's public transport, something I advocate for a lot is like maybe a travel fund, because like for instance a disabled person's travel is going to be more expensive than an able person's travel depending on how they're feeling that day and what mobility aids they use and stuff like that. Those kind of things.
Thank you, Molly.
Do we have any questions from the audience here?
You mentioned about like going the extra or like doing many hours in streams. I know with content creation, we are seen to be available 24/7. Like, how do you balance work-life stuff, if at all? Because a lot of us are just like content, and until we die. So like, please help. Can you please help us, please? Relate to
Help
that,
me.
maybe. So we're not alone. Good, thank you.
It was a cry for help. I think it's boundaries. You have to set yourself boundaries, because when it comes to content creation, there's a blurred line between you and the person that you put out there as a content creator. So half the time I'm like half asleep and I'm like, I wake up as Ebonics and I remember that I have to be Danny. So you have to really try and carve some time for yourself away from the PC. If you can also put the PC in a separate room to where you sleep, like I know that's a bit tricky, but that's 100% what saved my mental health. I needed to separate myself from the work that I was doing. So yeah, 100%. Set yourself boundaries and set yourself time for self-care. If it's like doing facials, if it's going for a walk, just setting time aside from being in front of the screen. I mean, I had to go as far as getting a dog to get me out of the house, but I'm not saying get a dog. Yeah, no, I'm not saying get a dog, but actually just trying to find some. I mean, you can put a leash on it. I mean, get a little backpack and take it outside. But yeah, setting yourself boundaries is really, really important.
Do we have any more questions?
Hi. Although it doesn't necessarily get like as much attention in the UK, there's a lot of progress happening right now in the women's Apex Legends scene, and there's especially a lot of things happening around getting proper, sponsored EA involved leagues that are for like women alone. a lot of these women are like right on the cusp of going pro. So do you guys have any advice for kind of breaking that final barrier into getting into the top leagues? Because so many are so close, and it's right there for so many of them.
I guess that's me.
I think that, yeah, that's how I'm looking at you, girl.
I don't know how we can say that when Little Piglet is actually in the audience and she's one of the most cracked Apex players that I know. Okay, right there. I think doing like schemes, spaces, women-only tournaments will really help. Shining a spotlight on women who are really, really good. Little Piglet, I want to see you at the ALGS. To help them in terms of like the training, the coaches, the money, the funding, the time as well. It takes a lot of. My brother has been my other brother, not this one, not that brother, the other one. He's signed to a team now, and the aim training. There's just so much that it takes out, and also making sure that those spaces are safe for women too, because it's all well and good getting you into a space, but there's an analogy that Cephas William makes. If someone came over to your house in a wheelchair, you'd move stuff aside and make sure that they were comfortable. It's the same thing for like, don't have a culture that you have like, oh, just get used to this. No, now that we have different sorts of people from different walks of life, let's make sure that our workplace reflects that. So I think in terms of like the women's scene, in terms of gaming in general and esports, we have to make sure that women are comfortable in those situations, you know. Let's talk about the kind of language that they use. Like when I'm in a party chat and someone says something, thankfully I play with my brother or my best friend. They're like, oh, don't say that. Like, you know, stuff like that. And they'll be protective. And not in a way that's overbearing where I can't save myself, but it's just like in a way that I feel like, okay, I can be comfortable with these guys. I can be this. So make sure that the spaces that we are like just thrusting these women in, are they safe? Are we going to want to stay there as well? So I think that's what's important. Because I really like, there was not a single woman at the ALGS, and I was like, I know people who are better than that. Better than all of these guys here, Little Piglet. I'm calling you out because I'm just like, you're good enough. I know you are. Like, I've seen your skill, and I want to see more of us at that world stage because we deserve to be there, and we have the skill set.
Okay, and should we go one more question from the audience, because I know there's one burning here.
Yes.
So my question is, like, who is it that you feel like is the most responsible person in making these spaces safe? Because I feel like, yeah, sometimes it relies on like the developers of the company or like the company itself, like to make sure it's safe for us, and also the communities that are in that. And I feel like as a female, I also play in Call of Duty as well predominantly, and it's not just the company, it's the community space. And it's like, what can we actually do to combat that? Because I feel like I'm struggling with how to combat the toxicity of the community space, not just the gaming space. Does that make sense?
Yeah. My take, Marianne?
Yeah. Does anyone?
Well, I just want to say, I feel like, as you know, we have a group chat. Like, I feel like females, we should all stick together and combat the abuse together. Like, when we have problems, we all put in a group chat. Like, and we can all stick together and just make each other feel a bit better about ourselves. So. Yeah, that's what
Power in numbers,
yeah.
and it's the supporting each other element of it. But I'm not going to say that I expect companies to rally behind everyone, because it's all sometimes money focused, and it's the community initiatives that kind of bring to light a lot of the issues that the companies are having internally as well. So when it shouldn't be our responsibility, is what I'm saying. However, most of the time it looks like it is. So I think it is, unfortunately, I would say we still have to work together and not try and tackle the issues alone. And group chats, forming alliances in, I guess we have like groups with each other. We have like BlackTwitchUK, we have Saga, we have Black Girl Gamers, and there's loads of other like community groups that kind of work together to support each other so that we don't have to go through this mess alone, because it is a struggle bus. It is a struggle bus indeed. But no, they could be doing more. Hey, can you do more? But yeah, I think for right now, we got each other. All of this. Okay, I'm sorry. Right, before we wrap up this segment, I really would like to know what all of you amazing ladies' biggest achievement is in the space and what you've done.
Like, honestly, it's a weird one. I feel like I've had some like good placings, I guess, if we're talking like tournament wise, like maybe 2 or 3 top 8s, which isn't bad. But like, but like, I think honestly, I've been more proud of the work I've been able to do like with the community itself, like being able to like give back through like running our own tournaments and like having a space for people to come. Like we have our, I guess, monthlies at this point. Like at the end of every month, we'll do a big Tekken tournament, and just like it's nice seeing familiar faces come back, new faces come back, especially after lockdown. Just being like, yeah, you can chill here. We play the good games. Like we got you covered. And then just learning a bunch of stuff, like doing a whole bunch of like streaming and production, like doing live events. Like that's been pretty crazy. So I think that's sort of, yeah, that's my biggest achievement, I would say. Yeah.
It should be. Bringing the community together, it's not easy. It's not easy at all. So you should really be really proud of yourself for that. How about you, Molly?
Mine's a sappy one. Is that all right?
Okay, wait.
Well, I don't know if it's sappy. It comes with it.
Tissue, please.
Mine is back in like almost a year ago, or over a year ago now. I joined a content team called Nay Saga, which you just said it, yeah.
Come on, Nay Saga.
Which is run by an incredible woman named Steph, and Steph's basically whole goal is to bring more diverse creators and people into the gaming space, and she's basically making way for that. And half the stuff I've done in my like career, I wouldn't have been able to do if I hadn't have joined Nace, if Steph hadn't wanted me to be part of the team. So I think that's mine.
Love that for you. And Tiana Babes, how about you?
Probably being invited to speak on BBC Extra Radio, speaking about black females in gaming. I feel like it's an achievement for me because I have a stammer. I'm not confident speaking, even though some people are like, you seem confident, but I'm like, it's just because I don't care what anybody thinks. It's not because I'm actually confident. I'm not actually as confident as I may seem. So I feel like speaking on the radio and speaking about something that means so much to me is a big achievement. Yeah.
And you killed it, babe. You really killed it. Annabelle, my love, how about you?
There's so many different things that I'm proud of.
Okay, we have time for one. We want the thread on Twitter afterwards, and I'm gonna link it. We need one for time.
Boy, I think some of the work that we're doing in Ghana, because I actually can see it, like, as we're doing it, changing people's lives, and that feels insane to say, but it genuinely is. And it's such a humbling thing to be like, oh my God, we've actually helped these people.
Yeah.
And we can see that like the trajectory of their life is changing because of the work that we're doing out there. So for me, it's just like, it's, you know.
No,
really
you're
fulfilling.
honestly doing phenomenal. Can you imagine, you don't really hate gaming in the motherland. The developers and stuff in the please, we need an applause, man. We need an applause. Oh my God, thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. That wraps up our second panel. You can find these lovely ladies where on the socials, please?
Twitter for me at Robin__TK.
Thank you.
I am LittleMoTAC or LittleMoTAC Gaming everywhere, except on Twitter where it's LittleMoTAC_, because I stole the original LittleMoTAC from myself at like 15 years ago.
I'm just Tiana Mercedes everywhere.
Anzy, ANZY, or just Melanin Gamers at literally everything.
Thank you all. You're so amazing and inspiring. We're going to shimmy on over to Cassie, who's getting ready to get slapjacked again in Tekken, or I don't even know what game she's playing next. So go check it out. You're going to have a ball laughing at her. But thank you all for tuning in, and thank you for listening to these wonderful, wonderful women.